share with you some footage of Super Typhoon Haiyan, taken yesterday by cameras on board the space station, on the exterior of the station. Haiyan is being called one of the most powerful storms ever recorded, and it hit the Philippines on Friday as a Category 5 storm. Its winds are estimated to be about 195 miles per hour, which breaks the previous record of 190 miles per hour for Hurricane Camille in 1969.
So I'll go now to our response to the Super Typhoon Yolanda. That's part of our program, providing direct services, especially to man-made and natural disasters. So when Yolanda struck, even though I am from Leyte and our convent is in Tacloban, I got cut off from communication because there was no cell site. I couldn't communicate to our superior, to our sisters, even to my sisters who are there in Leyte. It took more than 2 weeks for us in Manila to be able to communicate with the people there. But meantime, I already solicited from congregations or members of RMP for material and material support for the victims. I was able to get 2,000 family packs from Caritas Manila, and what is inside the family pack are 8 kilos rice, canned goods, and some other goodies for the family. But since we were not able to do it ourselves, we just sent it through friends who had vehicles going to Leyte and Samar. Now, I believe in divine providence. One morning, that was 2 weeks after Yolanda, I opened our email, and lo and behold, somebody was looking for me. They were from Action Aid. I never heard about Action Aid before, nor I never read about them. But they introduced to me to RMP as Mike Noyes from UK, Amar from India, who was the manager of Action Aid Asia, and Sonia from Sri Lanka. So they went to our office, and I was the one who faced them. I introduced RMP, and they introduced what is Action Aid, that they are the Human Rights Disaster Response Agency, and they have an office here in Australia. I was there yesterday. I visited their office, and they were happy because 2 of them from actually Australia, I met them in Manila when we had a seminar, so they were happy to see me. So that is already the second wave of our relief distribution. This is the fund that came from Action Aid. We were able to distribute food relief packs to 2,859 families in November. That was 3 weeks after Yolanda. But before that, we were able to give out 2,000 family packs already. Our criteria in selecting the 13 barangays: number 1, rural, and the most interior barangay or village, because another one is no agency yet has ever reached that area, and they are peasants, they are farmers, fisher folks. Wala man tayo kung indigenous doon sa Leyte and Samar pa. The following, when Action Aid people left that afternoon, they asked me, "Sister, I will give you an assignment. Prepare an action plan with a budget." And immediately I asked, "How much can you afford?" So I think they were pleased with RNP because of our track record. I gave them our what they call this, the brochure. So we became partners with a memorandum of agreement signed by Mike Noyes and also by Amar and ourselves. So these are the things we also distributed from that amount. Non-food items, because Action Aid was concerned about women and girls. It should be separate. So yun ang na-distribute namin, 2,983 families. to give importance to women and children, girls. So those are the pictures. We were able to, I rented a truck. And you know how much was it from Quezon City to Leyte Samar? 60,000 pesos. Mahaba. Those
Divided by 4.
1,500.
we all,
Yeah, that's a long distance.
it takes nearly 1 day to travel there. And we have
Only 1 day?
to yes, because 24 hours. 24 hours.
Oh,
Because we have to pass by Bicol.
Because of the-
And some once the trucks were held because there were only two what they call this Roro, the boat,
roll-off,
the Roro, the ferries, and there were some may anomaly dyan sa Kwan. There was some kind of anomaly there in that area there in Matno. And we have to expose that. It was good that we were together with the people from Caritas. Caritas called up DCRH Manila through phone, and it was exposed because some of the policemen that were asking 1,500 pesos from the driver. Imagine, hindi ako pumapil dahil may mga taga-Caritas man, so kayo lang siya. So we also supported in the training for psychosocial trainers, leaders from the 13 barangays to help in the processing of traumatized children and families. That's what we did. And what was unique in us, separate from the other partners of Action Aid, was from each barangay, I selected 7 leaders, 5 were women and 2 were men. And now you can see how much is our bias. So we training for 3 days training, leadership training. And the input, you can see the input. The input was about human rights, women's rights, genuine agrarian reform, and disaster preparedness. See? Those women were the ones who decide, we were together because I really empowered them that you should assert your rights. And that's why some of the barangay officials, especially the barangay captain now, some of the women reported to me, sister, they were already threatened. They were telling us, kayo mga babae, para na kayo ang barangay captain dito. And then they replied, I don't, what kami, ngayon, siguro, kuwan pa lang kami, we are just leaders, but we also want to be ambitious. We want to be the mayor of barangay of Pasay, Samar. From their own initiative, from one of the women, their own decision, hindi na ako, they came up with a common fund for themselves, and they came up with a livelihood project. Later on, you will see. Itong mga the sisters are members of RNP and also youth leaders whom we train to help us process the traumatized kids and the kids talaga, mga children in the different barangays. Now we also provide livelihood support. Since many of them live along the coastal area of Leyte, Samar, and some river banks, we did not provide for the individual family, but for the whole community, village. So for the fisher folks, we provided both engines and fish nets and accessories to be able to catch fish. That's why when the Action Aid people visited the area.
Sister, were the communities organized?
Yes.
Is the community structure in place?
Yes.
That's why it worked.
Yeah, it worked. We did not start to organize, but they were organized. That was one of our criteria in selecting the area. So they were happy because during lunchtime, they were served by the shrimps and the fish that was caught using already the fish nets by the fisher folks. For the farming communities, we provided some of them, some villages asked for hand tractors, while the others asked for carabaos. For those female carabaos, babae para manganak. Siyempre, female para manganak. So that it was the because we asked them what do they need. Hindi naman, we did not impose, but we solicited their suggestions.
Identify their own.
Yeah. Their needs assessment. We call that needs assessment.
But what happened to those who were not members of or part of the community but were also in need? Or your program just focused on the structured communities and that's
there are some barangays. Later on, we came to know that there are agencies also, NGOs, international NGOs, who we recommended them.
that's good.
Cost for work, we were a bit higher than the DSWD. Because DSWD was already paying for cash for work 240 pesos, so 60 pesos higher. So they preferred the RMP. 300 pesos, maliit lang yan, pero they paid for 15 days. It was already a very good income for them. And what they did was to clean their barangay, especially the school campus, because in Basay, since 10 meters high, the surge from the river. The second floor of the house, of the teacher's house, was 2 floors. Sila lang ang parang maganda ang bahay, pero hindi naman masyado maganda. Pero umabot daw malapit sa kuan ang the water. And the what they call this, ang lapok ba, ang the silt from the river was very high. So especially the school campus, the school classrooms, mataas ang mga chairs, even the tables of the teachers were covered with mud. They have to clean that. And also the canals and the chapel, that was their work. So they were paid, we paid them 300 pesos. 436 women and 564 men. And from their own initiative, they came up with a common fund, 20 pesos contribution to their common fund. Pero hindi na sila na yun. Yun ang ginamit nila. Some women, two barangays, they decided to put up a poultry. So, may nagbigay, ang Caritas pala, nagbigay ng 45 chicken, mga hen. And then it lays eggs. So every day they have 45 eggs. So maganda na yun. Binibinta nila. And twice or 3 times kami nagpunta doon, kami ang bumili ng eggs nila. Para naman may, but sometimes they divide it among themselves.
And then it just contributes to the self-sustainability.
Yes, for food security.
Yes.
And they came up with a communal vegetable garden.
Right.
Provided seeds for pechay, basta the vegetables. And every time we go there na may bunga, binibigyan kami. But we pay them. Inyo yan. But they were able to sell to the nearest public market, especially in Pastrana. Paloas is very near Pastrana. Every market day, they were able to sell those vegetables. And may pera na sila.
So they were not required to pay back anything.
No.
It was just like
it was given to the
go.
Well, but it was also their money that they earned. They took 20 pesos each out.
As
and built
capital.
out the fund.
That is the revolving fund.
So it's, in a way, it was their own money that they contributed. Yeah, that's right.
Sister, how come we don't hear this? Good news.
You will not
that's why
hear
we brought
that.
Sister here.
We at RNP, we do not broadcast what we are doing. Ang Panginoon na ang may alam yan. Unlike the government agencies that what they use their hand in giving, the right hand in giving, but the photo, the cameras are there. But for us, the camera is only for reporting.
I think some of the agencies like the Caritas, Jesuit Missions that were on the ground for
Yes.
that disaster were able to report back to their donors.
Yes, yeah.
I saw some on YouTube, some of their reports, what they have accomplished, where the donations went.
With the 2,000 packs that was given to me by Father Anton from Cantas, Manila, I already reported to him immediately after we distributed the goods. Okay, that's the female Carabao.
Still female.
Dalaga na yan. Ready? Because I asked them, ano, pwede na yan manganak? Pwede na yan mabuntis? Sabi naman nila, Sister, already na yan manganak. Kasi nag-menstruation na yan siya. How did you come to know na nag-menstruate na yan? Dinudugo rin pala ang kalabaw. Alam yun.
So they were able to reproduce actually. The
Yes,
Carabaos.
I think it is on the family with them. Buntis na yan siguro.
That's the reason why they ask for a female.
Yes,
Carabaos.
that's right.
You
That's
know,
right.
Yeah.
Because they wanted to bring
But
together.
somehow they will not live for long, right? I mean, you know, they have to have.
They stay alone, and then they can kill them for food.
I think they
No,
can
no, we
actually-
need not encourage them to butcher the
No,
trust.
no. But if they're no longer,
Yes,
They're
yes,
no
sir.
longer strong to actually do the work.
Okay. Yeah, that's that one. The one community that's Pet Shy. Then this is in Barangay Manay Pastrana.
Black Georgia.
That's about
Oh, sorry.
And when I went home to Quezon City, I brought along with they gave me a huge pumpkin ba, a squash. Pero binigay ko sa lay worker namin doon sa Tacloban. Isa lang ang nadala ko sa Quezon City. Saka patola, ang haba ng patola. Because we taught them the organic way. Ang chicken dung was used in
Yeah.
To
fertilizer.
fertilize, yeah.
See? And
So
I taught
the-
them also how to, not to buy anymore the chemical way of
Yeah.
spraying.
Yes.
What I taught them was, the tobacco ba? Ang tabako, the leaf, tobacco
Yeah,
leaf.
Tobacco leaf.
Give
It should be 1 leaf, 1 gallon of water, soaked overnight. And then it will be used to spray. No more ood.
Yeah. Yeah.
No more worms.
No more worms. And aphids,
And
aphids.
it became the insecticide.
Yeah, insecticide.
Organic.
Organic
Organic.
insecticide.
Yun ang tinuturo namin.
So the money that they received, that was used as like a seeding capital
Yes.
for them because there were no more additional money
No more.
provided. So they had to survive. They had to
Yes,
roll it
to roll it
over.
na.
To say, okay, that's good.
But not on the money, there
No.
was only 20 pesos for each.
So what do they do with that? That's a revolving fund to what? As a capital to buy more seeds.
Seeds,
Yeah.
purple seeds.
To grow their livelihood
Yeah.
projects.
That's good.
And also, if the roof, because it was on the nipa, the roof for the chicken house will rot.
Right.
They will be able to.
So for maintenance as
Yes.
well. That's very good.
What's the next? That's the boat engine
Okay.
And the handheld tractor.
and tractor. So for shelter support, yun ang binigay namin. For every family, 10 GI sheets, but they were the thick ones. And the longest one, it was 12 feet long. And then plywood for walls, 3 kilos of real nails, and 3 kilos each, 4 inches, 3 inches, and 2 inches size of the ordinary nails. And Volta seal for the adhesive.
By the way, what's that?
The GI sheet.
GI sheets are the corrugated
Yeah,
Galvanized
corrugated.
iron.
Galvanized
iron. So roofing.
Galvanized iron. GI. Sorry. You do not have it here, I think.
No, we don't
We
use
do.
the term.
You do.
We don't say GI.
We use
Galvanized iron.
Galvanized iron.
Galvanized.
I'm sorry.
Corrugated. Yeah. Just clarify.
Yeah, that's the one now. That's the ridge roll. They call it the ridge roll. This one to cover the corrugated for the roof. Those
How
are the
much
umbrella.
would that cost, sister? That house or what?
We budgeted because their counterpart is the lumber.
Okay.
we one region from Mindanao donated to RMP Eastern Visayas to ano mga pangalan yun? Yung pangputol ng kahoy? Chainsaw. Since there were so many fallen coconut trees and no one was getting it, I told them that will be your counterpart.
Alright.
We provided the chainsaw, and collectively, the men were the ones who cut the coconut trees and used us as the post. See,
No labor cost.
no labor cost. It was a collective work.
Bayan.
We encourage bayanihan, but not the type of bayanihan that Noy is.
Like Bayanihan, that's militarization.
Bayamay.
This is what we are proud. RNP is very proud of this. That we, RNP was a convener in gathering the victims of Yolanda from Leyte and Samar. Since we gave an input about human rights and women's rights, they were able to demand from the government their rights. Why was the relief snail pace very slow? So yun, in January 24, that was the launching of the People's Surge. And the following day was a mobilization of 12,000 people to protest about the snail pace response to the victims and the corruption, and to demand improved delivery of rehabilitation in light of billions of dollars of international donations. That is now the People's Surge. And the call was for food, because the food packs that were given out by DSWD, for your information,
Department of
Social Welfare and Development, they gave out 3 kilos of rice, but the kind of rice that they gave out were already moldy. And the canned goods, the tin cans, were already expired. One of our friends whose husband is a political detainee, siya was si Amit. Amit told me, sister, ang ipinabigay ng DSWD na rice, mataas na ang molds. Kaya she told her son to cook it and feed it to their pigs, but even the pigs did not eat won't eat. In comparison to what we gave out, it was 8 kilos rice from RNP. Kaya sa second wave na hindi na kami nagsama ng canned goods. But fish, buwad na noon.
Dried fish.
Dried fish. And munggo, may mga munggo.
The mountains.
Shelter, social services, that was what they were asking. Now, I think you must know this. Have you seen the bunkhouses in the Philippines, in Tacloban, no?
Yes, from the newspapers.
From the newspapers.
Internet.
This is, for some of you who know Tacloban, from the airport is Coca-Cola plant. These houses were built in between Fatima Village and Diversion Road going to San Juanico Bridge. Ito, the measurement, it did not comply with internationally recognized standards. According to the Department of Public Works and Highways, they spent 15 billions, but the architects said each room could have been built for 19,365 pesos and 95 centavos only. So it was overpriced. Now, some of the families and victims along San Jose, near the airport, until now they are living in tents given by the UNHCR. In fact, the other day, yesterday, when I opened my email, a family was killed because that tent was burned. A mother and
6 children.
6 children. Now, they did not stay, they refused to stay in those bank houses because they are asked to pay that very moment that they will stay in that bunkhouse, 600 pesos. And they were saying, why do we have to pay 600 pesos when we know very well that this money that was used came from foreign donations, which is true.
How many were built, sister? You were talking about.
In that area alone, there were, because we counted them, 232. And that bunkhouse, the color coding, there was a meaning, because there were some, the DPWHs from each region pledged to construct that many bunkhouses. So mayroon from Mindanao, from Luzon. Those are the meaning of the color coding. But I am afraid to go inside, because that one, the plan was 0.50 thick millimeters. The plywood, it's very thin. Mabubulos ako, I will fall in that if I will, because of my weight. At there were no toilets and bath in our kitchen until April. It was only in April, towards the end of April, that, because it was always on the radio yung complaint ng People Search na nag-construct na ng toilet and bath and kitchen. And it is not safe for women and children. There was no cover for the bathroom. No. And they're all kuku lumber. If another typhoon will strike Tacloban or Lake Samar, it will be blown away again.
It's a wasted money.
It's a waste of money.
12 billion. 12 billion.
Australian dollars again will be poured.
Maybe
So
not
yun.
anymore.
Those are this 12,000 People Search. We troop the city of Tacloban. Ako yun, I started the prayer when we started opening prayer. Yun ang mga penmanship namin, because we had the signature on the tarpaulin. Yun. Now again, I want to on this. We are prohibited to go back to our homes because of the no-build zone policy. Now the no-build zone policy, I came to know that it was started by Marcos, but it was not implemented during Marcos' time. It was only this time that it was implemented. Meaning that people whose families or whose houses were destroyed along the coast and those in the river banks will not be allowed to go back to their homes. But they resisted because they have nowhere to go. Until now, along Old Road Sagahan from the airport of San Jose to Old Road Sagahan in Tacloban, even if those houses were wiped out by Yolanda, you will see them again standing.
They have nowhere to go.
They have nowhere to go.
So where did the dislocated people
Now in
go?
Tanawan, when Noy Noy went there in February, he went there for the groundbreaking ceremony for the relocation site. I think it is about 10 hectares of land. But before I came here, I saw, you must have read also from the papers, or you have must open at the internet, that there was a Senate hearing that was facilitated by Senator Chase Escudero. He investigated the Department of Public Works and Highways. How many houses have they built for permanent shelter? Only 50. And they spent billions of money already for rehabilitation. 50 houses after 6 months, 50 houses only. Mabubuti pa kami, 600 lang natulungan namin. Kaunti lang ang pera namin.
So 50 houses in that how many hectares of land?
10. I don't know where the money went.
Somewhere.
Someone's pocket.
Bubble. Now, I want to share this. You saw kanina the bridge. Now, these are Muslim communities across the bridge, the mountainous area of Iligan. Now, our RMP NMR Northern Mindanao region, Sister Fameta, and the lay workers were the ones who trained these people for cooperatives, to become a cooperative. And we also gave them a seed capital for this cooperative store. And they were so happy, these Muslims. They said, "Sister, you are Catholics, but then you treated us like as if we are not Muslims."